Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. In today's/tonight's video, we're here to talk about a massive 3 points and a game that will be quickly forgotten, but a game that features not only a clean sheet, 3 points, our opposition red card early in the first half, and a cheeky little Rangers penalty. Santa must have been. Now, was it a great game? Nah. Was it a good game? Nah. Was it a bad game? Aye. It was painful, it was pitiful, it was honestly a sleep-inducing performance, but does it matter at all, ladies and gentlemen? No, this is the business time of the season. This is December, this is our third game in a week that has again saw a cup final and a trip to against Real Betis in Seville, so it was never going to be pretty, it was never going to be that way versus St Johnstone, who were going to come and play one way and one way only, and that's before they got a red card and were given even more license to park the bus and actually defend. So I'm not going to pick holes, I'm not going to complain, I'm not going to moan, and I'm certainly not going to be annoyed at the fact that that game wasn't a blitz of glamour and glory. It never was, troops. All that matters is picking up all 3 points. It was a mentality test, this game right here. We know there's players that's no got futures here, we know there's players missing, we know we need recruitment in January, but what we also knew is this game was a must win, and that's what we did, and truly that's all that matters. And you know, I think if you look at the starting 11 and the changes that were actually made, Phil's still trying to figure out what type of toys he's got in the old bag. He gave Ridvan a game, he brought in the likes of Johnstone. Kieran Dill's alive? Who would have thought it? I wouldn't have, troops, but he is. Absolutely, and I'll be honest with you, out of the people that was rotated in, I was actually pretty impressed with Kieran Dell. Again, he's barely played any football, but I thought he had a wee bit of nibble a couple of times, won a couple big possessions. You can see he's still rusty in a couple of areas, but let's be honest, he's barely played, so there might be something in there. But aye, there was a couple tunes there, a couple players that I feel like once the Christmas carolers are finished, should probably go ahead and follow them out the door, because we're looking at the likes of Kemar Roofe. We need to talk about it right away, ladies and gentlemen. Was given a start, and that made me nervous, and I shouldn't be in this position. We should never be in a position that when I see somebody start for this football club, I'm terrified if he's going to make it through 60 minutes. He never even made 60. He want to make 10? This is crazy now, and what's sickening is that laddie has some of the most talent I've seen in, I don't know, in a Rangers shirt. You look at what he's got, you look at his goals to game ratio, he's an absolute joke of a football player, but the caveat always was is if he wasn't so injury prone, he wouldn't be in Scottish football, and that is something we sort of took because we had the likes of Morelos, we had goals elsewhere, and we could sort of balance the use, not use of Kemar Roofe. But now it's crunch time, we've got some key injuries, we've got a massive hole in our attacking line, and we need firepower, we need Kemar Roofe, and unfortunately his body is betraying the laddie. There's no a single cent or single cell in me that believes that lad doesn't want to play for this football club and doesn't love this football club. You see the way he treats it, the way he is on Instagram with his kids and his family and everything. He loves being here, but his body is just letting him down, and it's got to the stage now that he can't even play 3 games without an injury or picking up another injury. I mean, he was substituted off after 10-11 minutes in the game, and it was heartbreaking because you saw his reaction and he was hiding his face. I think he was getting pretty emotional. I think that was quite clear to see, and that's probably the last time you're going to see Kemar Roofe in a Rangers top. And what's sick is it's a week on from him scoring not a last minute winner, but a goal in the last 15 minutes of a game that won us. It snatched us all 3 points. It saw us top the Europa League group. That's what he brought us, but then in the space of a week you see what he also takes away, and that's availability. And some people might say, yes, his talent's great, yes, his goal scoring instinct's great, yes, he'll get you this goal if he's on the park, but the best ability is availability, and unfortunately Kemar Roofe just doesn't have it anymore. And I hope it's nothing serious, but I've seen this dance too many times now, and I feel like again where Big Phil operates and what he keeps talking about injuries and want people available and available, I think we might have just seen the last Kemar Roofe. But believe it or not, he wasn't the biggest frustration in the game, and I'm going to talk about another player that frustrated me in the game, and it's going to be by the name of Ridvan Yilmaz. Now, if you watch the game of football, I think it's fair to say he was involved in nearly everything in that game. You know what I mean? His positioning, the amount of touches he got. He was heavily featured throughout this game, and he had about 50 crosses. And you know what we say about Barisic, where Barisic can have 20 crosses and it frustrates the life of you, but then the 21st drops on a dime and it's the best cross we've ever seen. Well, Ridvan hits 50 crosses and not one of them is actually good, and that's the frustration there as well, because where I feel like Dill showed a little glimpses here or there, I just felt Ridvan showed us what we always see in the laddie. Great runner, very quick, very agile, but just no much in product. And I thought if there was one position he'd really grab and start nailing down, it would have been probably left back, because he has been fit, he is available, and that performance was nowhere near it in my opinion. And he heavily frustrated / featured throughout the game of football. And I think if you want a one-word summary of how this game actually played out and what it was like to actually watch this game, I would simply just say Ridvan. And I think that would explain it. But hey, we're not here to complain. I just need to tell you how I saw the game, and that was some of the things that heavily frustrated me. But I want to talk about some of the stuff that actually made me happy in this game. There wasn't too much besides the 3 points, of course. But I want to talk about the next guy, and that's the name of Big Dessers. Because Dessers, for me, is one of the main reasons we were able to overcome what was a very stubborn St Johnstone side. Even before the red card and everything, look at what he brought to this game. Physicality and the ability to link up. That's what we talked about in the player profile. That's what we talked about when we talk about Dessers at his best. And I thought he came on and showed what he's all about, up against the likes of Liam Gordon and Considine, two centre-halves that you've heard and you've spoke about right here on the channel with me, frustrating the life suiters because they are physical, they are strong, and they've had their days versus the likes of Morelos and everything. They've had good games versus them, but it's fair to say that Dessers wore both of them like a pair of Christmas pyjamas, throwing them about. There was a point around about the 70th minute, long before he ended up winning the penalty, by the way, that Liam Gordon just ended up punching the grun because Dessers is throwing him about like a plastic bag. And I think in a game that will be forgotten about very soon, because all that mattered was the 3 points, we will remember the likes of Dessers coming in there and making sure, because if we take him out of the game, we're maybe not having a successful day, but he played his part in that, and I just want to see that laddie build up, build up, build up, because I see something in the laddie where I didn't see in the likes of the Lammers and everything. I see something in Dessers, and he continues to build as he brings his 4th goal in his last 6 games since coming back for the Shadow Realm after it looked done and over. He was challenged by Phil to go out and give him a something to think about, and again 4 goals in 6 games, including an assist for the penalty of the day. I think the big man's answering some of his critics and slowly but surely turning things around, and the longer you watch today's video, the more you'll hear the laddie's name. But I guess I can't go much further in today's video without mentioning the name of Santa Trips, because he turned up at half time. It was great. I was like Will Ferrell and Elf. I just shouted Santa. I was very excited, and sorry about your ears right there. And it was interesting to see the reception go, because you know Santa doesn't always get some cheers, ladies and gentlemen, and I loved that shit house today as he was throwing about the cup. And if you look at the week he's brought us, he's been involved in 2 games this weekend. He brought us a 2-0 win versus Celtic, which was always enjoyable right there, and he brought us an early red card, 3 points and a penalty to Tav. So I think it's fair to say Santa Claus is staunch. But it's not the most exciting game, and I don't imagine many people will actually be here watching today's video, so any support would be greatly appreciated. But I want to talk about a couple incidences in the game, because it will start to unveil the picture that was painted today's game. And starting the game off again, a lot of changes, a lot of people who's been out in the cold or been injured or been banished to the Shadow Realm was given an opportunity to go ahead and play. And just when you think like, right, let's really stick the fit in, the crowd was electric, it was bright, it was starting good, John Suter ends up hurting his nose pretty badly with a sort of head collision. That kills about 6 minutes, and then when we finally get to play again, there's then another head knock as Kieran Dill leaves one on the St Johnstone player. I'm blanking on the name, do apologise about that, but you're like, sit back down again in the freezing cold pishy conditions, and then you're back up and you're doing it again. And that there's probably a summary of the game as well, that it was never going to be anything perfect, as Craig Levein brought back a very famous formation and setup that he had many moons ago when he was a Scotland manager, the 4-6-0. That's what we saw for the opening 25-30 minutes of this game, and it was pitiful to see. But I'm going to jump over a couple of incidences, because Tavernier whips on a gorgeous ball for Roofe, who it was on this park in the 5th minute, should have done a hell of a lot better, but then he signals after Ridvan does well to sort of win a 50-50 plays into him, his shot's blocked and he's signalled off, and again it's emotional, and I'm not wanting to happen to laddie, I'm not wanting to turn into a joke or anything like that. He looks absolutely devastated, and I feel like that is really it for his story in terms of Rangers. But on comes Big Dessers, and I didn't mind it, the physicality. Again, there's something about Dessers that I just get behind. You all know it. You slam me and shout at me in the comment section. So I was pretty excited to see how he handled us. There's very little more Scottish terms battles that you're going to have than us in Johnstone with Considine and Gordon. That's your bread and butter. If you can sink or swim against them, you're going to sink or swim against the majority of the dross in this league. And again, right away he starts bringing in people, starts linking up the play, and we end up winning a corner that falls to the back post after I think Dessers heads it on to Suter. Suter has a shot that ends up hitting Dessers, I actually believe, or it hits the defender, and you think, oh, there's a chance. But the 28th minute came and we got the goal we massively needed as the game was starting to just frustrate. I mean, a perfect example of that is some good play. Dessers into Lammers to Tavernier. Tavernier passes it to Seema, back to our boy Tav. Tav hits it right across the box where Seema, lovely little dummy. Redvan's got all the time in the world, but somehow Redvan gets his foot over the ball. How does that happen? Anyway, moving on. For there, we're going to talk about the 28th minute where the ball gets played out to Tavernier, and the skip dog just does what the skip dog does. Puts us on his back and carries us. Wonderful ball into the mixer where, yes, the defender has a howler here. I think he's expecting Dessers to do it, but Dessers has actually gambled and showed a bit of initiative, and I think something he wouldn't show before this 6-week spell, or 6-game spell, I should say. You know, when he was lolly confidence and he wasn't making the moves and he wasn't tracking the ball, and he was sometimes giving up because it looked like he had just realised he wasn't at it. He stays tuned, he watches the ball, he gambles on the defender making the mistake, and then it's a great finish pegging the goalkeeper from that type of position. And again, YouTube, if you're listening, knowing the way that's going to get me in trouble, right in between the legs, balls in the back in it, 1-0 to Rangers, and Oyers instantly unclenched. Really glad that I said it wasn't the way you thought, because YouTube probably just heard unclenched, the other word that I said, and would have shut this bad boy right down. And where we started to look good after that, taking the lead, starting to really take the initiative. One of the worst challenges of the season comes in just shy of the 32nd minute, where it's that ugly, ridiculous red card of a player that's just spat the dummy. I've got no time for this, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and it's a disgrace of a challenge as the ball comes down and he just absolutely nails John Lundstrom, who is our only fit centre midfielder, by the way. And when he went down like that and you saw the reaction of the players, I'm going, oh no, that his ankle's broken, his ankle is gone. I've got the hand right above the head. I'm saying that's it, it's done now. Who's going to play in the middle now? We're going to play John McLaughlin there and experiment. And what showed, not only with the players' reaction, but you look at the St Johnstone player, you tell by his face, he's actually starting to walk off the park. But somehow the referee, who was less than 10 yards away for the incident, pulls a yellow card. And I'm not going to harp on too much because I know it's very, very late and everyone's in the Christmas spirit, but I am absolutely embarrassed once again from our newest low in terms of officiating in the country, that everybody on the park, including the player who was already walking off the park, ladies and gentlemen, is then given a reprieve from the referee, who doesn't want to make a decision because he's shat his knickknacks and says, I'll give him a yellow, and if I'm wrong, VAR can go ahead and fix it. We need strong officials and strong referees in games to go ahead and take these challenges and make it. Whereas to give a yellow card and drag out 5-6 minutes of VAR is a pointless waste of everyone's time. Give him the red that he should have got. Do your job properly. Then if you get it wrong, they'll tell you to go and look. Didn't cop out and wait for VAR. This is the issue with VAR. It's got good things and bad things, but referees are shiting out incidences like this, knowing VAR's got them back. Where's the leadership? Where's the strength in these refs? There isn't any, and aye, they want it more about empty. But aye, moving away from the cowardice referee, the VAR eventually tells him to go over and reverse his decision. He goes over, takes 2 seconds and sees that he got it completely wrong, and he's got his wee arse clapped. And red card, 1-0 up. Is it going to be a cricket score? Let's go, let's go, let's go. After it, you can see that for Clement. You see him on the sidelines. He's screaming and screaming and screaming. But despite huffing and puffing, we couldn't blow the St Johnstone low block down as we passed it about. Dessers, nice little play, linking in with Sam Lammers, who hits a volley that's easily saved by the goalie. Great build-up play for the big man. He also does one for Tavernier, playing it out there with Tavernier, has a shot that's just over the bar. There was a couple wee moments like that, but I can't sit here and lie to you, say it was us at our best in terms of football and ability. It wasn't. Tavernier's effort just shy at half-time, where it's a great ball from Connor Goldson in behind to the right when he whips it just left was the closest we came. But aye, nobody was happy at half-time, troops, and I think it showed you by Clement shaking his head, looking disgusted as he went up in the tunnel, as he knows he needs more for that Rangers team. But again, that's no surprise to any of us. We've seen this type of performance before, and it was all about that second half, because crunch time was coming, game in hand, all eyes on us. We have seen this team buckle before. How was the second half going to play out? Well, thankfully, it didn't go wrong. And one of the reasons I think it didn't go wrong, or was given an opportunity to go wrong, was the substitution that was made, bringing in Sterling, putting him back in to the middle of the park as Lundstrom was withdrawn. Obviously, he's got an absolute dullion on his ankle. Hopefully, it's nothing serious. But I'll tell you about Sterling. Within 4 seconds, 4 seconds on the park, he wins an interception, gets us the ball, drives forward, wins us a corner. Now, we obviously waste it because we're Rangers Football Club, by the way. But, again, shows real intent, and I thought he was great all afternoon as well. One of the few times that Chris Kane was able to get the ball and run down to the channel, especially the one just shy of the 70th minute, where he did catch us on a break after another wasteful, embarrassing set piece. Who's their set piece coach? Is he doing anything? Can he try? Can he just try and shake these players and try and adapt to something else? Because it's not working. The only teams that look dangerous from our corners or set pieces is the position. But carrying on, Sterling runs down the right, wins the ball for Chris Kane, and that was a vital bit of tackling, or they were in 2 versus 1. But the closest we came before the iconic line penalty to Rangers all featured Dessers just linking the play and bringing others, and it was some gorgeous football. I mean, he had one where he side-footed it after combining great with Tav, forcing the keeper into a good save that was really unlucky, but then he was turning provider, playing a beautiful ball down to Lammers, who at this time goes over the ball and kind of falls over, but the next time he does great with a great touch, and it's actually a very good shot as well that's well saved by the keeper. You're sitting saying, oh, what a chance that was. He then gets another opportunity. Lammers down the left hand side as Ridvan finds him in the middle, takes a touch, ends up having a shot. Dessers kind of gets pushed in to the goalie, but it's not a penalty for me. But it's another chance for Lammers, and you're thinking right, and then Dessers plays him in once again down the right hand side, but he tries a wee chop, he tries to fake it, he ends up losing the ball. And just to sum up Lammers' luck in front of goal, or shouldn't I say luck, just who he is in front of the goal, after Dessers does some brilliant work to feed him another opportunity, the ball comes in as a volley, it looks like it's gone in, but somehow, some way, the goalie pulls off a ridiculous save, and you just sit back and look and say, that man's not doing nothing. Big Sam Lammers, he's out here doing cardio. Clearly Big Clement felt the exact same way, as it was soon after that the Lammers' time and opportunity against one of the worst sides in the leagues, defensively, offensively, statistically. Again, that these types of players who are playing week in and week out should be shining over the likes of the Dowells and the guys who's coming in from the cold. They're supposed to be leading us, but we just couldn't get the juice for him even in this game. And on comes Cantwell and Scotty Wright, and that injected a bit of pace, a bit of directness, and a bit of connectivity from the midfield and the attack, where Ridvan, to be fair to him, runs directly into the box as he always does. His cross gets palmed up in the air by the goalie. Tavernier's running to it in the volley. I've already got the hands up, I'm ready to start streaking, but somehow the skip dog hits it wide, and then you start to think to yourself, I'm getting a little bit nervous right now, because we've seen this story before. This record has been playing and it skips at the exact same point every single time. Celtic drop points, we're in a tight game, even in a game versus 10 men, we have flung it away before. But the biggest compliment you can give us in terms of our ball retention, the likes of Sterling in the middle, and even Kieran Dowell to a lesser extent, was you could have played this game like a hockey game and pulled the goalie, because Jack Butland wasn't needed at all in this game, as we continued to strangle them, and it was no ifs, doubts or maybes about this game, especially after a phenomenal through ball by I think it's Kieran Dowell, or is it Tavernier? It's someone from that little pocket that both of them was sort of filtering in all day, but either way, it's a wonderful through ball ball. Dessers takes it round the goalie wipes him out. It's your clear as day's penalty, and I don't understand why people are greeting online and they're throwing out statistics and shouting it, saying, haha, Rangers in a tight, narrow game gets a penalty in the last 10 minutes. Who would have thought? Corruption is clearly a penalty. What do you want on my day? Dessers has went round the goalie. The goalie's wiped them out. What do they want the refs to do? You know what I mean? Not give it. Because we've had some penalties this year. It's ludicrous, ladies and gentlemen. And to that ridiculous notion that's now gone out there because there's almost a vital Old Firm game coming at the end in the month, and all the puppets in the media are starting the nonsense already about how many league games has Rangers went without conceding a penalty. Have you seen how many games Rangers have played without conceding a penalty? Well, look at St Johnstone today, troops. You know what I mean? Is that even getting close to trying to warrant a penalty? And I could sit here and I could show you stats and statistics game after game after game like that. What is that? Or are they right, troops? You know what I mean? With 0.6% expected goal, with 29% possession, with one shot that was a 95th minute free kick that was 75 yards air the bar. Should that be winning a penalty at Ibrox and breaking the streak? No. Do you know why? Because you actually need to get in the box versus us to get a penalty, and teams very rarely do. But anyway, back to the game of football. Up steps the skipper to partner his assist from the first half with a goal in the second, and truly capping off a fantastic week for the skipper just a few days on from winning us a trophy. Ends up winning us another 3 points with a goal and an assist. And shout out to Dessers as well with his work rate, his awareness and his ability to go round the goalkeeper. And that was obviously a game set match. We ended up taking Tavernier off for the likes of Leon King. We sort of saw the game out, and again the last shot of the game, we've already mentioned where it was 75 yards there, the bar. But that was it, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to forget this game, if I'm honest with you. But what I won't forget is the fact we've cut the gap to the tippity top, and we've still got another one in our hands right there. And I'm absolutely delighted. I'm absolutely buzzing at the potential banana skin of a game fresh from a cup final has been dealt with against a side that was informing their best run of the season. Complete, done, shelve it away, collect all three, smile and be happy tonight as we are heading this way and others are heading this way. And that's all I've got to say about the game. If you're talking about man of the matches, for me, it has to be Big Dessers. I thought he changed the game. I thought he was excellent, and I thought he linked up the play and could have had a couple assists as well if Lammers had a wee bit of luck in front of goal and was a wee bit sharper with the chances that was created for him. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on a frustrating game of football, but a vital 3 points. Until next time, which will be Christmas Eve, is the next time me and you will see each other, ladies and gentlemen. I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.